I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and we have Catrina Allen along with Sarah Hokom, Ellen Widboom, and Melody Waibel joining us on the lead card here today. This is the second round at the Disc Golf Hall of Fame Classic presented by Proactive Sports. Our women are starting off on hole number 1. They have the later tee time on Saturday. Hole 1 is a par 4 at 660 feet. Your 2014 Women's World Champion, Catrina Allen, is in the lead. Melody Waibel is teeing second. Finding the right side, that is a very good kick. Of course, you don't want to hit a tree, but back into the center of the fairway is a good place to be. And your 2012 Women's World Champion, Sarah Hokom, laces a forehand right up the middle. And this is Ellen Widboom, also with a great forehand right up the center. Not making the bend here on hole number 1 essentially negates any chance of getting a birdie 3. That's exactly where you really want to be after your first shot. As you see, Sarah had made the dog leg. She's got to look at the long approach shot here. That probably plays close to 400 feet. Slightly uphill, that is. And Ellen with a great shot gets the skip. She'll have a really long look from there. Catrina, one of the longest drivers in all of disc golf. A great looking shot. She could have used a little bit more flex out of that. And right now, Melody's looking to hopefully maybe have a long look at a par save there. And she gives it just about the right amount of power. Sarah Hokom lines up a long jumper. Catrina with just a little bit short on the effort. As you can see, Catrina starting off the day 8 under par, Melody at 7, Hokom at 6, and Widboom at 5. Very, very competitive group here. And Catrina carding the 4. Hole 2 measuring in at 390 feet. And that's a pretty good shot, as that's going to somewhat fade toward the basket. I feel like Catrina and Paige Pierce maybe are the 2 women most likely to be able to drive all the way to the green here. Ellen's going to push over a forehand, and I really like that angle. Melody cards the bogey on the opening of the round and is trying to make up for it here. That's a great shot on hole number 2. She's going to have a simple approach shot right up to the green. Or should I say the sand. What's this? A backhand by Sarah Hokom? Long look at birdie there for Ellen. And sure enough, Catrina Allen putting it just 8 to 10 feet short of the pin. They have an easy tap in, and that's a great start for Catrina. Opening with the par on the very difficult par 4, and then following it up with a birdie here on hole number 2. Melody, a very methodical but yet forceful putter. This is Saturday afternoon. The women again played early on both Friday and Sunday. However, the Saturday round is the later start for them, teeing off, I believe, around 12 or 12:30. We're moving over to 3. Hole 3 has undergone a few changes throughout the years from the original design. And we see at 252 feet, Catrina will have a great look at birdie from there. Sarah not quite getting over on it like she needed to there. Ellen maybe getting a little bit too much on it, but it looks like that might have just snuck by for her. And if that can stay clean, which it just barely gets it, and she's going to have to settle for a par. If you look at the scorecards, you usually see a big line of blue around this area. This is one of the most twoed holes out on the entire course, and Hokom almost wills it in there. And Catrina, a great start. She's now gone par birdie, sitting 2 down through 3 holes and just trying to distance herself from the rest of this card. Melody making sure there's no debris under her footing. She squares up. You see this straddle putt is what she's usually most comfortable with. She'll clean up for the par. The other 2 women are looking to do the same. Hokom, who almost got it up and over the rim. Uh-oh, that's a pro move. She's got a bag on her back already. And Ellen's going to be tapping in. See a birdie and 3 pars. And a very demanding par 4, 624 feet. It does play downhill to the left, but then back up a hill. So this is certainly a 2-shot hole. Even the biggest arms of either the men's or women's division are not going to be driving this hole all the way to the pin. I believe that's the first backhand we've seen by Ellen. And it does catch a tree, but looked pretty good otherwise. And finding the wide gap on that left side, a little bit more power required. And Sarah catches the tree on that right side and gets a nasty kick. That's going to push her down the hill and to the right. Melody has found the gap, and that's going to be a good look at a birdie 3 from there. And this is about as far as you'll see anyone drive this hole by Catrina Allen. And trying to fight through that left side. Hokom's got some work to do. I'm not sure how Ellen just missed that tree, but it works. And Catrina's going to have a long look. She's going to have to settle for a par, but again, great start. And a birdie there by Melody. Just squeaking it up and over the rim for Ellen. Kat's going to remain at 2 under for the round. And Hokom is going to relinquish a few strokes to the rest of the card. Taking the honors here on the tee of hole number 5 is Melody. And this hole is brutal. It is very tough to find just where you need to land. Catrina asking for a kick out. Kicks and drops relatively straight down.
Oh, terrible.
Hokom's not pleased with her own efforts, I guess. Oh, and that was also looking good. The whole dog legs from left to right for at least 350, maybe 400 feet. And then once you're into the opening, you may look at a relatively straight shot to a slightly elevated pin. It's just a little bit higher up than where the women are right now. Hokom's so fortunate. That standstill forehand shot just provides so much versatility in your game. So many different shapes and ways you can bend the disc in the flight. Catrina goes with a standstill as well. And there's just a lot of ground to cover on this hole with plenty of trees. You'll find that to be very common throughout this entire course. This course designed by John Hauk, one of the most prolific course designers in all of disc golf. Catrina wants to make sure that sits. And with enough power but not quite on line. Sarah Hokom is in. If I had to pick a somewhat critical point, I would say I'm not a big fan of the landing zone on this very first tee shot here on this particular hole. It's just not my favorite. I feel like it's very difficult to find yourself in a really good position to possibly throw your second shot. Even the best of drives seems to be challenged. Let's move on to the next one. So 2 bogeys and a double bogey on hole number 5. That's going to give Ellen here the honors on hole 6. She'll be teeing first, followed here by Catrina. Catrina is going in the perfect direction. From there, it's about a 10 o'clock turn up and slightly left. Still with more than 300 feet to go for Catrina, even with her well-placed drive. And Sarah seems to be a little off her mark today. That's on the left side. And that's hyzering quickly. Again, not somewhere you want to be. Oh, and Hokom busting out the forehand roller. I love the shot. Unfortunately, that one gets the tree, and she doesn't get more than 100 feet. And then you hear another tree kick there by Melody.
Yeah. Look at that. Nice.
And a little bit of magic there by Hokom, missing everything. I feel your pain, Ellen. And I say that because I don't know if I've ever not hit something while trying to throw a forehand. And another late tree. Catrina's got a long look at birdie. Hokom with a, we'll say, somewhat of a crouched over backhand attempt, and Melody's off the top of the basket for her putt. Oh, and Melody, just not enough change. She hits the right side. Ellen's going to tap in. In the meantime, I'd also like to thank Dynamic Disc for being supporters of the women's coverage throughout the weekend. Dynamic Disc so gracious in helping out the Disc Golf Guy video blogs throughout the weekend. We certainly appreciate their support. And Melody just wants to move on. Cat with the par. And so as you can see, that hole providing a little bit more cushion after watching Catrina play it just about perfectly, walking away with a par. Another hole measuring in at over 600 feet. I believe this is our third or fourth consecutive hole at that distance. This is a par 4, of course, at 606. The play is straight up the middle, and then this one bends to about the 2 o'clock position, ultimately up and to the right. You really need to get past this initial set of trees here if you want a clean look at getting up to the basket for 3. Melody's second shot. Oh, and there's a good kiss off the tree there by Hokom. That is drifting to the left side. Looks like she'll have a putt from there. And a stellar approach by Melody. Ellen's got an inside route, trying to work that forehand, hitting a tree. I think there might be a little bit of a pattern here. As you guys have noticed, there are a ton of trees out here, and it's very tough to avoid them all, no matter how accurate you are. Sarah uses the string to make sure she's looking at outside 10 meters. There's a string under each basket, so you can bring that out and see if you're for sure outside or inside the 10-meter circle. And Sarah lunges forward and kablam. Solid jumper by Hokom. Melody's putt is in. And another pro bag move. That's Catrina Allen. As you can see, Catrina continues to distance herself from the card. She cards the par on the last hole. And that is a very good kick. This is one of the 4 holes, I believe, that has a shorter tee. The men's tee measures in, I think, at around 990. And the shorter tee here that's used by the women this weekend still comes in at 861 feet. It acts almost as a double island. There's a row of trees in the center that from the long tee you need to make sure you get out and around. These women are about 3/4 past those trees. You see some on the left there. And then there's another island of trees which has a tunnel to the left and a tunnel to the right. As you're looking here, there's the left side tunnel that Melody has pured, going right up the middle there. Beautiful shot. If you're in a slightly different position, you take the right side, and that's exactly what Catrina's doing there. So it gives you options based on where you've thrown your previous shot. If you can take the somewhat inside gap, that's a good way to go. However, tighter.
Oh, not a car.
Sarah hoping it doesn't hit a car. I've heard hit a couch, hit a wall, hit a house. I'm not sure I've ever heard the hit a car request, or don't hit a car for that matter. Getting a little tricky here. We see the overhand shot. She's far left side with a long jumper. Not able to convert. Ellen's gonna draw some metal. Solid putt. That's a 4 for Melody. Oh, and somehow staying in. That's also a birdie. And Hokom will tap in. We're going to move over to the last hole on the front nine. So 2 birdies and 2 bogeys on the previous hole. This hole has also undergone a few changes throughout the years, pushing it back further and to the right where it is now, coming in at 399 feet. It is straight up the gut with a finish to the right side, and the basket perched on top of a few little mounds. Now that is a good looking shot. Hokom claiming the inevitable, saying that of course she hit a tree. There are just so many of them.
I think it's 2 minutes for the Ames.
And enough to scare someone here. Sure enough, they were blowing the horn as the 2-minute warning was starting for the PDGA A-Tier taking place also on the weekend. The national tour consists of just the MPO and FPO divisions. All other divisions were playing in an A-Tier. As we've all stepped foot onto the International Disc Golf Center, which is in Appling, Georgia, Columbia County. Celebrating just over 10 years here at the center. Oh, and getting the pullback all the way in there for Ellen. We see Catrina, she's going to tap out. Sarah's got to tap in. And we're wrapping up the front nine. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back with the back nine. It's been a pleasure. We're at the Hall of Fame Classic.